I think this is an Asian culture thing. So Asian tend to be a little bit more timid, don't dare to speak up.
Yeah, that's true.
Just do your own things and all that, right? But that only works to your disadvantage.
Why? We're just figuring it out. Hello and welcome back to Figuring It Out. My name is Melody.
I'm Nicole.
Hi, I'm Frankie.
Okay, so many of you may be wondering who is Frankie. Frankie is actually a host from FAQ Show. And FAQ Show primarily talks about investment, but today he's not going to talk about investment. He's going to actually talk to us from an employer's perspective on how to negotiate for a pay raise. And Nicole will be representing the employee's perspective. So to understand how to negotiate for a pay raise, we need to understand the basics first. So Frankie, I just want to know, when should you ask for a raise?
Yeah. Okay, so typically I think the rule of thumb for anyone going into a workforce is that after working for 1 year, you have your performance review, right? Mm-hmm. That's when everyone will start thinking, hey, not sure after this review I will get a raise or not. That's where people will start anticipating. And then whether it comes or not, a lot of times people don't dare to discuss that issue. They will just leave it to the manager to assess whether they did well or not during the year and hope that the pay raise will come. So I noticed that is generally what people's mindset are today, especially if you're working in a big organization. Which I'm not surprised to see this kind of reaction, because a lot of times, especially if you're working in a multinational companies, right, they have a very clear structure of when you get promotion and every promotion, how much increment you will get and things like that. So think of it as you're going back into university again. And every year is graduation from that year and moving into a senior year. And as you move into senior year, you expect a senior salary. And as such, people don't really ask too much about it. They just follow the system. But a lot of people neglected the fact that actually if you feel that you're being underpaid or you feel that you are giving more value than what you're actually getting paid for, then actually you can voice it out to your manager and say, hey, I know that this is the expectation. I'm probably going to be in the range of this kind of increment or maybe not getting a promotion. But can we talk about what is the true value of me in this organization? And as such, can I renegotiate my pay scheme for the upcoming year?
Okay, so I understand you've had an ample amount of experience working previously. And I just want to know, how do you understand when do you even deserve to talk about this kind of topic with your employer?
I think for me personally, the only time I've ever asked for a pay raise was when I know that I did something for the company. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in there. All that really matters is what you've contributed to the company's success. So I think that if you've done a project that did really well or you helped drive like X amount of revenue or stuff like that, then I think that could be a time that you can consider asking for a raise.
I see. From an employer's perspective, so does that mean that we actually have to list down our KPIs and what we've contributed, then only you guys will consider a pay raise? Or do we have to bring it up ourselves?
Okay. Of course, if a company has a structure, have a clear KPI and all that, things will be much easier. Based on the KPI, you have done this. If you score 10 out of 10, no question asked. You deserve a pay raise, right? But a lot of times, some things come outside of your work scope, especially if you're working in a small company, like Finit, for example. We are a very small company, and very often everybody needs to wear 2 or 3 hats. Which could be outside of the job description that when you first join the company. And a lot of times when we go into appraisal, because your job description and your KPI is like that already, but you're doing more things outside, right? And sometimes because 1 year later, it's very hard to remember what everybody has done. So sometimes it serves as a good reminder where you take your own initiative to remind your manager that, hey, apart from this, I also did this. What do you think I did well or not? So you can do it subtly, right? Is there anything I can improve on the extra task that you asked me to do? Oh yeah, I remember you did that for me. Hey, actually that gives a lot of value to the company. Then now you can start negotiating like, so a lot of value, right? So do you think I should ask for a pay raise? Then the discussion will start. Lor.
How should we prepare before going into a negotiation with our employer? Like, I want a raise, but how can I actively ask?
Okay, so in my experience, I've actually always been upfront about it with my manager at the start of the year. So let's say this is January, I will tell them, hey, by end of the year, I want to get X amount of increment. What can I do to get there?
Oh,
And we will work on it together. Most of the time, we will treat it as a project and we'll list down, okay, you need to do A, B, C, D. And if you do A, B, C, D, this is the results that my manager will want to see. And if I can achieve that, then by the end of the year, really black and white already, ma. I've already done what you asked me to. I got the results you want. Give me the pay raise lah. So I'm always looking at it as something that I should work on with my manager on how we can get that together.
I see. So it's very clear cut. You've already planned at the start of the year and understood beforehand what I should have done in order to get to that end goal. So it's not like, okay, I do so much throughout the year, then only I show, actually I've contributed this much. I think I deserve a pay raise. It should be at the start of the year, you have a discussion, then only decide.
I think it can go both ways lah.
Oh,
Because
how?
I know some people or myself, at some points I felt like, okay, I want to level up. What can I do? Then in that kind of scenarios, we will plan for it. But let's say a lot of times also a lot of people would have taken up tasks beyond their job scope without realizing. At the end of it, they're like, oh, actually I did A, B, C, D. And then they reflect and they will be thinking about that pay raise. And I think you can, let's say you did all that, you can also come back to your manager and say, I did all these things. What do you think is next for me?
So that's a very indirect way of understanding which direction you can go to. Then how would you have asked for a pay raise?
Okay, so generally speaking, in the employment scene, right, there are two kinds of people. One is the people who do the right things. The other kind of people is people who do things right.
Well, I don't understand.
Do the right things means like what Nicole mentioned, right? Maybe you are new in your job. You don't even know what to do. People who do things right will just take instruction from the boss and make sure they execute it properly, execute it right, and then just deliver. It's the most minimal kind of deliverables to a manager. And as such, right, this group of people tend to find it a little bit more difficult to negotiate for a pay raise. Because
Why?
number one, you're only delivering the minimum. And what if the instruction that comes down is actually not the right thing, is wrong, and it's misaligned with the company's direction and whatnot. So you're just doing for the sake of doing. You waste a lot of energy, you get burnt out, you get stressed and all that. At the end, to find that, no, it didn't work. And as such, company didn't make money. And therefore, even if you want a pay raise, even if your manager wants to give you the raise, no money.
I see.
Right? Whereas the people who do the right things at the start would sit down with the manager and plan and say, okay, this is what you want to achieve, right? I think to achieve that, A, B, C, D, E, we need to do. And out of A, B, C, D, E, I think I can help you to fulfill A, B, C. And if I finish A, B, C, I want this. Can or not? Yeah, good, fantastic. Okay, if can, then along the way, you know, your mid-year appraisal, quarterly appraisal and whatnot, you just do a check-in and see whether you got meet target or not lah. If you meet target, and by the time you reach your year-end appraisal, what is there to argue whether you can get the pay raise or not? Because everything has been discussed upon at the beginning already, ma.
Okay, what if in that situation there are no check-ins and no clear set KPIs set? How should we progress from there?
Okay, so so this is a very interesting question, and I think this is an Asian culture thing. So Asian tend to be a little bit more timid, don't dare to speak up.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
just do your own things and all that, right? But that only works to your disadvantage,
Why?
because then you become the person who do things right.
Oh,
You are just taking instruction and do
understand.
things. But just think about it, right? You just take a little bit more initiative, just to voice out and say, hey, I just want to talk to you and see whether I'm on track to meet whatever objective that we want to meet. Because if we don't meet the objective, not only you won't meet what you want to do, you set up to do, but I won't get what I want in this job.
I see.
So can I help you to help me so that I can get my increment at the end of the year?
So it's a team effort.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's a team effort.
Everyone needs to work together as a team and not think silo, like this is what I want, so therefore this is what I do. And your manager should also try to work together with you. If your manager works in a silo, you can change your manager by taking that initiative to ask and say, can we have a sit down session? Yeah.
So if I notice there's a problem, like for example, if I don't have any clear set KPIs or I don't have quarterly appraisals or whatever was mentioned just now, I would be the one that is supposed to take initiative. But because my position, for most of the viewers out there, we are probably fresh grads, we would think that we don't have the rights to be asking. Is there such thing? Like, can we still ask even if we're at junior level?
I don't see
You
why
ask
not.
her, yeah.
I asked for my first pay raise 1 year into the job. And I know someone that asked 6 months into the job.
What? How? Why? Won't you think that I'm not qualified enough because I just started?
No, I never thought of it that way. I always tell everyone that it's really not about how long you've been in, it's really about the impact and the value that you bring. So if you really believe, and I think it's also important to not be delusional lah.
Oh.
Don't be delulu. I think I had very regular one-on-ones with my manager at that time. So we were very clear on whether I was on track or not. And at that time, 1 year in, I was a fresh grad. I asked for a raise before my performance review.
Wow.
How
do you do it?
I literally just, hey, I did ABC. I felt like I contributed to XYZ. I'm looking for X percent of increment. Is that something that we could discuss?
Because I feel like this is a very intimidating topic to talk about. I was talking with a friend of mine, and she told me when she has been looking through all the things she has done, she has contributed a lot more than was necessary, and she believes that it is time for a raise. But whenever she asked for a raise, it felt like she was begging for money. She felt like she was being a beggar. So how can we make this entire conversation more or less like way less intimidating than it should be?
Maybe it's the way of asking. So one thing I realized when I talk to a lot of friends is that a lot of times when they ask for a raise, they tend to bring up the whys of why they want a raise is always about, oh, my rent is very high. Oh, I got not enough money.
Oh.
It's all I. But one thing I feel that helps is always to really, really keep emotions out of it and really focus on what you've done and what you've contributed to. Really listing down like actual results that your manager can see and value and base it off that. So yeah, it could be the reason why that she feels like she's always begging lah. The way that she's asking.
So it would be better for us to write down beforehand.
I always prepare. I always have a list.
To build on the point, right? Actually, I kind of answered that question already. So if you recall how I said was that when you have the discussion with your manager, you tell your manager what you want to do or what you all can do together to achieve that objective. And in return, what do you get out of it? Now you're not begging.
You're
negotiating.
I think at the time when she was asking for this, it was more like towards the end. It wasn't at the start where you guys said at the start of the year, you would plan beforehand. Okay, this is the kind of things that I can contribute and this is the amount that can be given to me. But for her, it was throughout the entire time she was working, she had a very clear JD. Okay, she followed according to a JD, but then more and more tasks were piled onto her. She was shifted into different departments unknowingly. Then she still took it on, but then she realized, she was like, hey, actually I've been doing a lot more than what was required. And also I'm doing the same thing as all of my senior managers, but I'm not getting the same pay. I feel very unfair in a sense. So she was like, why should I be begging for this when I know that I should be paid this amount for doing this amount of work?
I guess sometimes the dynamics of a company also would play a role in whether or not you can get a raise. Are you in a large MNC or a startup? If you're in a big company, a lot of times there is quotas for promotions. There is also a set budget. I mean, I think small companies as well, there's already a set budget for raises. So whether or not your company can afford it is another thing. You could be doing all the work, but actually at the end of the day, your company just can't afford it.
I want to talk about this, which I made a mistake, a career mistake in the earlier days.
Do share.
Right. So, because I work in a bank, bank very structured one, so I thought, okay lah, just follow the structure, right? You will be great. So, in the banking, and we all know that banking rank, you have like very very chunky rank, right? You have vice president, associate director, director, that kind of stuff.
Are you director?
No lah, I didn't go so far, right?
Okay.
But that's not the point. So the impression that as junior people always get is that you don't really need to worry too much about the increment. But what you want to fight for is the promotion. Because every time you move to a different rank, a more senior rank, that is a higher jump compared to if you're in the same rank one.
Oh.
So that was the perception, which is right, which is correct, not wrong. So we always fight for that promotion from senior executive. You want to become, let's say, assistant vice president, move up to vice president. But the mistake that I made is that every time you move up a rank, in the HR policy, what it means is that now the cap for this position is not 3,000 anymore, it is 6,000. But it's up to you to negotiate. Is it 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000 or 2,000?
Oh.
So that part I didn't know. All I know was, from senior executive now I move up one rank, right? Then my salary is going to go up. But the thing I didn't know is that, it doesn't mean that my salary will go up.
So they just give you a title,
What?
but
No
no
money?
salary?
Yeah. And I was stuck in that situation for a good couple of years.
How do you find that out? Like, how do you realize that?
Why
that-
did you say yes?
Yeah, also that.
Because
Why?
I don't know, man.
Why you don't know?
No, because I did. Oh, no, of course the increments still come higher than the usual increment. But I didn't know that it can. So when I compare what is the cap of that rank, it's like, whoa, it's actually so low. I could actually go up like so
Right.
much more.
So for example, if you're like 5,000, they're promoting you with like 20%, but actually there is budget for up to 50%.
Correct. Or even 100%.
I actually didn't know this also.
Yeah.
Also, they usually have a range.
Yes.
Oh.
I never knew this.
Yes.
So
and if you don't know how to negotiate, they probably just increase you by 10, 15, 20%.
Wow. So they were already ready for negotiation, but then you didn't realize you can.
Correct.
But when you ask for such big amounts of increment, right, do they also come with like setbacks?
Yeah, lor.
So this is another thing that I think everyone should be aware of, right? Is that people always penalize you based on your last drawn salary.
I don't understand.
Okay. I'm a very good example.
Oh.
My first drawn salary was 2002. And because of that, when I moved to another company and I asked for higher pay, the counter was, why should you deserve so much when your last drawn salary is 2002?
Oh.
Of course, as a fresh grad, I don't know what to say lah, right? I mean, you all are all senior people, 40, 50 years old. I'm just a 20-year-old guy. Okay, lor, maybe I'm wrong, lor, right? But I was lucky in the sense that I have. So my manager punya boss had this mentality that this guy is a bright guy. And if he can do things that I want him to do, why should he be paid 3,000 from a 2002 salary? Because the position that I want to hire, I have budget for 5,000 ringgit. And after I joined and we have that conversation with him, he did mention that like a lot of organizations, they penalize the person because of their last drawn salary. It could be because the guy don't know how to negotiate his salary. But
Right.
we as manager, we should still pay fairly to our subordinates.
Wow.
So I was very thankful for that boss lah.
But not every boss is like that. So when
Correct.
we're placed in that position, how can we protect ourselves by negotiating a fair salary?
Okay, so now you guys know this trick, right? So you know if you are being paid like every time 2,000, every time go up to 2005, 2008, actually if you are long enough in the career and you know what is your value, I think you should have that honest conversation with your direct superior lah.
How can we actually have that honest conversation? Because not many of us actually know how to negotiate. Like what you said, we are a predominantly Asian country. So most of us are more likely to not voice our opinions. We'll just take it as it is.
Right.
So instead of taking it as it is, how can we stand up to actually say, hey, I think I deserve more?
Okay. you straight away go up to your boss and say, I deserve more, it won't work.
I know.
It will never work. You must always put an offer on the table.
Huh? What do you mean?
So let's say you are an editor, right? So you go to your boss and say, okay, in this next 12 months, what can I do as an editor to help you to make more money? You're going to make a lot more, right? If I can do this. Okay, so if you make a lot more already, and I'm putting extra effort to make this work, how much do you think that I should get paid? Is it still 2,000?
Oh.
Still 2,000?
You're throwing the question back to them.
Yeah, you throw the question back there. Still 2,000? Okay, fine. Then what you do is, you take the same offer, you go to somewhere else and ask, if I can do this for you, do you think I can get, let's say, 8,000? If they say, no lah, then you know you ask too much. Then you continue to probe lah. 8,000 no, then 5,000 can not? Maybe can. Then you know your market price is around 5,000. Then what you want to do if you really love your current boss, right? You say, I want to have honest conversation with you. I actually went there. Over there, they say they can pay 5,000. What do you think?
Wow.
It's a bit like a threat.
Yeah.
Well, you have to word it nicely lah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You have to
So
word
you
it
counter
nicely,
offer.
But you need to show that this is my value.
Correct.
And I hope you can see this value.
Yeah.
I mean,
To be
really?
honest, that's also how I got my increments lah. I got it because I got better offers. And then in the end, it was just counter offers.
Oh, wow, you need to learn how to play the game more.
Yeah.
Okay, then what if our boss says back to us, like, what do you think how much do you think you deserve? So from there, how can we gauge what is a sensible amount for a raise?
I would say keep an eye up there to be aware of your value. So even if you don't have the intention to change job, right? Sometimes it's good to just go interview.
Huh?
Yeah.
Really?
I agree. I always go for interviews.
Then what if they give you an offer, you reject?
If they give you an offer, it's for you to evaluate, right? If it's a really good offer and you really think that, hey, why not try? You can either take it. Okay, basically you have to be in a win-win situation. It has to, if they were to give you an offer, is this a company that you really wouldn't mind going to? And let's say yes, you could also bring this, yes or no, you could also bring this back to your current company and just say, hey, I got this offer lah. How?
How many times a year should we be doing this?
Don't do it
Don't do
many
it.
times a year.
No. Maybe 3-5 years one time. 3-5 years
yeah,
one time.
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was an annual thing. Sorry.
Not this strategy. Don't do this every year.
No, this one then after a while the whole market know that this girl always go into
That's
then
why
they
I
don't
was-
hire you already.
That's why I was like, if I do this every year, then won't my boss be like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this every year to
No,
me?
This is like your final cut already.
Oh. Okay, so just now you mentioned that you were given a title increase, but your salary didn't increase that much. But how can we actually tackle that? Because I know, like, what she told me was that some of them is just they give money but no title. Why can't they just give money and title? You're already giving the money. Why can't you just give the title also?
Okay. So what is done is done. You cannot reverse it. It will look very bad on you. So from that point onwards, you need to think, what can I... So it comes back to square one. What can I do to add value so that I can have better bargaining power in the next round of negotiation? So as such, yeah, I accepted my mistakes and all that. Then I asked myself, what else can I do? What else can I learn in this year so that next year I can do? Then come next year, I say, I want to change. Yes. And I feel in the past, it has been like this. I'm not very happy. I would like to try this. And if I can do this, now I don't want this kind of pay. I want this kind of pay. Okay or not?
But what if the pay doesn't really match the title? Like, you give me a lot of pay increase, but my title is still the same. Then when I want to hop, people will say your title and your pay don't match.
Okay. So title in a small company, especially like the size of our company, title useless one.
Yeah.
Title
true.
is just a title because ultimately it still comes down to the actual work itself. But when you're in big organization, title comes with, like what we discussed just now, the cap of where your salary can move, right? So then it becomes the manager or the boss needs to justify whether you deserve a promotion of the next rank. If not, then how can you work towards that rank so that you can get that salary?
Okay.
Yeah, because in a very structured company, yeah, if you want that level of salary, but your rank is not there, yes, I'm so sorry, you cannot get there. So they need to work towards your promotion first to increase the limit so that your salary can go up.
Well, there's a lot of games. I don't like to play games. Well, I'm really bad at playing games, but I will keep note of that. Okay, so because we work in a more or less a very unstructured environment because we are a startup company. So for startup companies that have less structure, typically we don't really know who to go to ask for raises. So for example, if our bosses are more busy, then they'll say, okay, why not you ask this person instead? But this person is not responsible for raises. Then me and this person don't really know how to figure out the raise conversation. Like we don't know what to proceed from there.
Who is this person?
Like an example.
Oh, it's not your situation.
No lah, no.
If got, then
I just started.
later we
What
need
kind of
to
raise?
off camera and have this conversation later.
No, I just started like what, 3 months? What kind of raise? Not yet. Maybe end of year I'll update. I'll try your tips.
Okay.
So for example, if we don't have that kind of structure and we don't really know who to go to, how can we even ask for a raise if we don't have we don't know who to go to?
I think that's a tough question, but I still believe at the end of the day, if you're gonna have all these negotiations about salary, it should definitely still go back to your direct supervisor lah. I think that no matter what, because you're responsible for your progress also, they should always make time for you. And I think that if they can't, that's just a huge red flag.
Oh shoot. So means leave lah.
Don't leave lah, but force them to sit down, like serious talk. Hey, I really want to talk to you about this thing.
No, but if they still don't want to have that conversation, then maybe you should start thinking about what I need to do next.
I see. Yeah. Okay, but I know some companies don't have the budget for raises. Then other than raise, can I negotiate for like extra leaves or other benefits given? I don't know. I'm not really sure what benefits are given for companies because I'm quite new. So what other benefits can I negotiate for?
Actually, I've never really heard of anyone who negotiates for extra leave days or anything like that when they're already in a company. But I think before you join, and let's say it's to a new place, that's something that you can definitely, I feel, in my opinion, you can negotiate for. I think it's quite common to negotiate for leave days, and yeah, because that's the only thing you can really ask for more. Usually other stuff like dental benefits and all that is already fixed. So it's either leave days or monetary.
That's only for a less structured environment.
I think it can go both ways.
Really?
Personally lah.
I am not very sure. I think based on my understanding, the benefits of a more structured company is you cannot change one. Okay. If you're this rank, you got 21 days of leave, it's like that. Very hard to change because when you change means you change the whole company policy.
Okay, that's true.
That's true.
Whereas in a small company, it's easier. You want 21 days, okay lor. You want 26, okay lor, I feel you deserve it. Okay, you can take. But my bigger question to this would be, is that really what you want? It's like saying today I cannot eat the food that I want, so therefore I compromise by having something else. But will you be happy having that?
Probably not, because I didn't get my option one.
Correct.
I'll just be like, it's okay lah, it's life.
So in my opinion, benefit is benefit. Right? What you should play with and game it is the amount of salary that you can draw based on the value that you can give to the organization.
Then what should you not say during a pay raise conversation? Like, because
what should you not say?
Yeah,
give me money first, that only I do.
Yeah, that's
that
the worst thing.
Obvious lah.
You'll be surprised. There are a lot of people who feel like, why should I prove my worth before you give me the raise? It's very common. It's really very common. Yeah.
People just ask like that?
Yeah. I've seen people say, I want 5,000 ringgit. Why? Because if I don't get 5,000, I got no money to pay for parking and my petrol.
Yeah, exactly.
They justify like that? They don't justify like, okay, I've done this XXX amount of work, I've hit this KPI, blah, 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 I believe I
Or
deserve
they'll
it.
just say like, oh, my friend is earning 5,000, why can't you pay me 5,000? I've had this kind of conversations before.
Serious?
I don't know how to brain. I don't know how to brain. Yeah.
How would you respond to that situation?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's quite obvious.
Cannot lah.
Oh, I didn't know that people actually ask like that. Okay, now I know. Like you shouldn't ask like that. You should know well enough what you've contributed, how whether that you've hit your goals and more, then only decide how you should ask. Okay. Let's say if I negotiate for pay raise and instead the boss comes to you and say, no, I'm demoting you. Because this is a genuine question that I found before. Then I was like, what kind of question is this? Why would people ask this? But then again, I'm also curious, how should this person proceed from this situation?
This person must have done something very wrong.
Yeah, or delusional.
Yeah.
This one is like, maybe they were just delulu the whole time.
Okay, that's true.
And they always thought they were doing well, but in reality, they weren't.
Okay. Yeah. So I think demotion is very, very serious. He or she must have done something wrong. But maybe something that is more realistic is that maybe that year the company didn't do very well. And if you come ask for pay raise, not only you didn't get the raise, the boss will come and say, actually, I have a very big challenge. I may not be able to survive the next 6 months. Is it okay if I cut your salary by 30%?
Oh,
Right.
no.
Yeah, that is more possible.
That happens before?
MCO, right?
I don't know lah. Luckily, I never kena before lah. But now you think logically, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The case study you gave, that one, I don't know.
No,
That
I
one
found it
never gave
online.
before.
Because I was doing research,
Right.
like how should I actually negotiate for pay raise, and I still didn't really get my answer. So I was like, okay, maybe I should do an episode about this. Then I saw someone, what should I do when I went for a negotiation with my boss and I get asked to be demoted? Then I was like, what kind of question is this? So that's why I was like, okay, I also want to know the answer. That's why I asked.
That person must have done something wrong.
Yeah.
And then that question triggered the manager and say, sorry,
Get
I
out.
want- get out. Yeah.
Okay, so in that situation, would you leave or would you still stay?
Quite clear the manager wants the person to go lah.
Understand.
But
Okay.
having said that, I think if you want to demote somebody, you cannot just say, hey, you're fired like that. This is not the apprentice, you know. So
Okay.
so there's a proper HR process for you to demote somebody.
Okay, let's say because we are more or less a smaller company, we don't have proper procedures. So for a promotion procedure, should we email our bosses first beforehand or talk to them during lunch, or how can we approach?
Do you have one-on-ones with your manager? I think that would be the perfect time to bring it up.
So after the one-on-one, do we still need to have proper documents to email them and all that, or that should be sufficient?
Maybe because I came from big companies, so I always feel like it's best to have black and white lah. I don't know, but actually I don't know. What is it like small company? This is also my first time here.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I came from an industry that's based on trust. So word means everything.
Oh. Okay,
So-
but how
so
does...
to me is whatever I say, I will honor it. That's me.
I see.
Yeah.
How would you want your employees in a smaller company to approach you for raises? Because I was talking to Aaron.
Right.
Aaron is like our
CFO.
Yeah, CFO.
Slash
So he
HR.
told me, he was like, you cannot ask when you see your boss is in a moody, he's very moody today. And then you're like, okay, it's the end of the year. I need a raise, blah, blah, blah. Then you go ask him. Then your boss confirm will say no. Because it's also affected by emotions. So you have to wait when they are happier. Then I was like, isn't this like talking to my parents when I want something?
Yeah, I also feel that way. Actually, I thought it would be a good time to ask your boss when the company is not doing well.
Huh?
Like when everyone's leaving, that's the perfect time to ask.
Why?
Because
Really?
you have all the
Is it true?
leverage, right? Everyone leaving already. You also want me to go, man?
Wouldn't the boss be like, you know what, everyone's leaving, you might as well leave?
Legit, sorry, okay, I go.
Oh,
But I don't know. From employer perspective, you should share.
yeah. When would you prefer us to ask? Or you just don't want us to ask?
Oh, best is don't ask. As an employee, best is don't ask.
Okay, but we will still ask.
Okay, but to be fair, obviously you are going to ask. And I think the best time to ask is whenever you are ready to ask. I know it sounds very vague and cliche and all that, but yeah. So just share with you one story, right? We were having a one-on-one session with a staff, and in the conversation, suddenly the staff just kept quiet, and then just pop up one question and say, "Can I increase my salary by 1,000 ringgit?"
Wow. So sudden?
They were like,
Out of the
this
blue?
conversation is getting exciting. Why
What?
do you want the 1,000? Then the conversation start.
So you won't be like, wow, why are you asking this so suddenly? You're like, wow,
Right,
exciting.
because we were talking about work, stuff like that, why things are getting messy, and then halfway it just come out from nowhere. Stop, quiet. Actually, can I get 1,000 ringgit extra for my salary?
And what did you say?
Yeah, what do you say?
It's an exciting topic. Let's talk about it. Right?
Okay.
Why suddenly we talk halfway now you want a 1,000 ringgit raise? Then it started off. In the end, we gave the person that increment that the person want.
Can I get 1,000?
Yeah, I also want actually.
Off camera, then we can talk.
Okay. I'll think about it.
But you can see where the conversation went, like what we have discussed so long already. Same. You want 1,000? Why? How? Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. What are you going to do? And if you can do, then we will do this. Yeah. So
Then-
like that.
So for an unstructured environment, would you agree with what you said? Best time to ask is during chaos? Or best time
It's,
to ask is when everyone's happy?
I don't know, both way works. That's a strategy lah.
Wow. Then as a boss, which one would you prefer?
Which one do I prefer? I'm very open one. You feel you are ready, I will be ready for you.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm ready. I want 1,000.
Okay, can.
Okay.
Wow.
It's recorded. Okay.
Okay, so Melody have been asking me a question, right? I want to ask you back. First of all, how long have you been working already?
3 months plus only, officially.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why you want to do this topic with us is it because you want to ask for pay raise, you don't know how to ask, so you use this episode to ask for
Negotiate.
pay raise.
That's crazy. Actually, yeah, you have your doubts,
Right.
but I will not do that because I'm not the Lulu, like what Nicole said. I've only been working here for 3 months plus. What kind of raise can I ask for?
She's starting to plan already.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
said she knows already now. She needs
I
1
need,
year.
I need to plan in advance.
Luckily, I say you need 1 year to plan.
But like, let me continue. Because, yes, I'm doing all this because I'm figuring it out, correct?
Correct?
So I will gather data and then I will use, okay? Because I learned already, I need to apply, right? So after I apply, I'll update my audience if it works. If it don't work, then you see me elsewhere.
Okay, so 1 year later, let's do an update episode to see whether you get
Did
what you want or
Melody
not.
get a raise?
Yeah.
So kanjong.
So kanchong.
Next thing you know, got new melody.
No lah, you're doing it so well. Good job.
He's being held hostage by the camera. Thank you. Oh, I'm pretty sure you guys can hear the throughout majority of the podcast because our neighbors are picked the most amazing time to do their renovation. So while we're waiting for that sound to pass, would you guys like to take a quick snack break? Because I'm actually very hungry. Every time before I shoot, I'm always damn hungry.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
okay,
hungry
stop.
lah. Stop.
All right. Okay, what's this?
These Twix, I actually never tried before.
Okay.
My favorite is Snickers usually because I like to eat with nuts. But actually, fun fact, Twix is one of the first chocolate bars under Mars.
Oh, really?
Wow, I never knew that.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not
Really?
Wow,
mistaken.
it's Twix.
Wow, there's a story
Choco
behind this.
hazelnut.
And actually, this the only difference is that this one don't have nuts.
Oh,
Really?
so it's actually
But has-
Mars bar without nuts.
But it's
Yeah. Actually, no, Mars bar is the first. Then
Okay.
this is one of the
Okay,
original ones as well.
Right.
But I would say it's pretty similar. It has more caramel and chocolate coating, but it just doesn't have nuts. So if you have a nut allergy, this is probably perfect for you.
ASMR.
Actually, no, it's not perfect because got hazelnut seasoning. But this is great.
Nice.
Thank you. Can you hear?
Yeah, still got sound.
Actually, I really like to listen to
yummy, eh?
ASMR, you know.
Me also.
Which frozen?
No.
Oh, I also actually really like to put chocolate in the fridge because I feel like it's less sweet. Maybe it's in my head. But I really don't like super sweet things. So I like, if you don't like chocolate that's too sweet, you can put it in the fridge and then it will taste less sweet.
Okay.
This is my hack.
trick.
Interesting logic.
I'm not sure if it works, but it might.
Okay, no more sound already. Let's continue.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure that I've already asked most of the questions that I have to ask. But as usual, we always do this at the end of the segment, which is if you have one takeaway for our audience, what would it be?
In this time of the century, right? I think technology is so advanced and so crazy. And if you don't upskill yourself, it's very easy for you to be replaced by technology, somebody else who can do better, yada yada. So before you even think about asking for an increment or a promotion, I think the first thing that everyone should do is think about how you can improve yourself, how you can add value, not just to the organization, to yourself, to the society, to the world. I know, again, it sounds like, wow, very, very what, right? But yes, but ultimately, that is how wealth and value is created. You as a being on this planet, you contribute something to this world, and the world will give something back to you. The more you give, the more you're going to get back. So just remember this very simple rule of thumb. I think everyone will do quite okay one.
I see. So you need to value add before deciding what value you can take.
Correct. Show value first, the value will come back to you. Don't think about money. Think about how you can improve your skills so you can do your job better. Then you know when to ask for salary.
So if I do all that, money will come naturally.
Yes.
Money is a byproduct of what you do.
Okay, let me do my work. Okay, what about you? What's one takeaway for our audiences?
I think it's pretty much similar to what Frankie said, right? Just echoing off of that. If you can't expect your company to go over and above for you if you're not going to go over and above for them. So it's always about the value that you can bring before you can talk about anything lah.
But there's a lot of people that also say you need to be selfish. You need to understand the company won't do everything for you. So why should you do everything for the company? How would you answer in that sense?
I think in that kind of situations, you know what kind of companies and what kind of people you're working for lor. Those are maybe not the right people for you, and maybe those are not the kind of people that really value you. So maybe can think of going somewhere else.
I see. I think we've had a pretty good array of answers, and I truly hope that the audiences that are listening to this episode understand well enough when and how to ask for a pay raise. And with that said, thank you so much for watching FIO. Thank you, Nicole and Frankie, for being on FIO as well. Don't forget to follow our Instagram at figuringit_out.pod. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask more about pay raise or adulting in general, head over to our Reddit and we'll try our best to answer in the future episodes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Don't forget to subscribe to FAQ show also. Thank you
Oh
very
my
much.
god.
What plug is this?
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.